Hello everybody, welcome back to Automation Game and episode 4 of our Let's Play of Consolidated Motor Cars in the Light Campaign V4. My name is Marcus, and last episode we just launched the first edition, or the first trim rather, of our new model, the second generation Liberator. We have a sedan variant and a hatchback variant, and today, without further ado, we're going to get right into making our first facelift of these two trims. Starting with the engine, the main and most important thing we need to do, and probably the only thing we need to do, is switch over to regular unleaded fuel, and of course take a little bit of compression out so that we don't knock. This way the fuel band, or the leaded fuel band, doesn't come to bite us in a couple of years. I've also gone ahead and just taken the rev limit up to a nice round 5,000 RPM, and that gives us a nice looking power curve. The only other thing that I think we could consider is maybe switching over to MFI, mechanical fuel injection. Let's hold this engine and give a quick look. We would not do that at +6 quality, we would do it at 0. Okay, so you'd have an engine that is slightly more reliable. We could run a lot more compression in it. But let's have a look at the cost. It would be more expensive both in terms of materials and production units and engineering time. So I think we'll revert to the carburetor and we'll stick with that, but we might just put even one more point of quality into it, and that might allow us to just grab, it allows us to just steal one more point of compression just to dull the blow of that switch over to unleaded fuel. Okay, that'll be our engine. Taking a look at the sedan, any upgrades we want to do here? We'll stick with our 3-speed automatic. Maybe we'll just put a point of quality into it. Actually, I don't think that really helps us that much. We'll leave it as is on second thought. Wheels look good. Nothing to see here. Brakes still look good. Aerodynamics. Interior is now the time for a basic radio. I feel like I keep testing the basic radio because at some point the demographics do start to prefer it, but I can't remember what that point actually is, so I just keep testing it periodically. Point of quality and steering, that might be helpful. No, it's not. What will definitely be helpful though is upgrading to standard 60 safety, and just a little bit more safety. Everybody likes that. Progressive springs, we don't need the fancy dampers. Suspension tuning looks good. Very, very modest series of upgrades coming today. Now we just give the hatchback a similar treatment, and we should be good to go. Now, having given the hatchback the similar treatment to the sedan, just with the new engine and an upgrade to 60 safety, we can move on to the factory tooling, which is really where we're going to get the significant upgrades or significant changes to this facelift. First thing we're going to do is up the automation level. I'm going to go right ahead because we have the money, and I'm going to up automation to about 65, and I'm going to up tooling quality also to about 65. This is going to allow us to run our quality slider a little bit more aggressively. Also, I think we've just been building up experience from producing cars over the past couple decades. We'll complete that and give the engine a similar treatment. Actually, before we give the engine a similar treatment, we'll take a look at our engineering here. What we'll do is try to up the tooling slider so that it approaches the tooling setting of the factory, or the automation setting of the factory. I'm going to bring this up a little bit as well, but not too much, because I don't want it to eat into our production too strongly. Reliability, we can go ahead and slam that right up. I think our current trim is pretty competitive, so I don't know, maybe 36 months is a good target for this facelift. I feel like it is. Now onto the engine. For the engine factory, we're going to do the exact same thing, just up the automation to 60, tooling to 65, or I think I had the automation at 65 on the other one actually. QA, wow, QA is still pretty bad in the engine factory. I don't know why the QA is worse in the engine factory than in the car factory. But anyway. Engineering will target 36 months again, which it looks like will be pretty easy given that we're already running these sliders so hard. Excellent. We'll even actually just put a little bit of funding in so that we can run it even a little bit closer to our automation target. Don't need quite that much funding, actually. All right, there's our production graph. This time I am going to actually up the target shifts to 2 and the max shifts to 2.3. So I'm going to let it run a little bit over if it needs to, because it looks like it would, and we have enough of a cash cushion now that we can kind of take that hit as they ramp production off right off the bat. We'll sign it off. We don't need a loan for this one. It's well within our means. We'll up our stock target so that we're under control. Let's go into our research slider and see if there's anywhere we can save a little bit of money. I want to keep running the body tech because it's nice to unlock the bodies early. And we'll take a point out of drivetrain. Actually, we'll leave a point in drivetrain because advanced automatic is a really powerful tech and it'd be nice to get that a little bit early. We might even want to dump more in this over time. Actually, let's go ahead and dump more into it right now while we have the cash. We'll put 4 into it, and that way, maybe on our next round of models, we can design it with an advanced automatic. That would be really big if we could get that out early. All right, and we'll put 1 more point into fuel system as well, because that will just help us get even more of an engine reliability. Okay, let's hit play. Uh-oh, we've hit a quality issue. Issue severity, small. Discovery chances, medium. Full recall. So I could do a full recall for 1.2 reputation damage, or I could do a quiet recall for a risk of 1.1 reputation damage and 1.2 reputation damage. This is a lot cheaper, and I'm also not all that concerned with company prestige, so I think Quiet Recall is the obvious choice here. Yeah, doing nothing, like this is catastrophic if this happens. That's kind of out of the question. I think this is the one that makes sense here. Our new trim is now going on sale, and so far selling at a massive markup, but let's let it tick just for a couple of months and see how things kind of settle out a little bit. Wow, okay, making very big profits on this one. Where is it selling with over 100% markup, over 100% of the price, and still selling with fantastic competitiveness in the commuter segment, and even not doing bad in commuter budget, and absolutely killing it in the passenger fleet segment. We are in 1972 now. We've been selling the second facelift of the second generation Liberator for about a year. It's been selling very well, and we've managed to save up about $1 billion. So I want to take a quick look and just see how much would it cost us to buy a new factory, specifically a new large factory, because that's something that I really, really want going forward to produce our budget cars in. Let's go in here, new car factory, and have a look. What are our plot costs like? We need a large plot. I don't think we need a huge plot. I think a large will be good enough. Oh, that's interesting. Hedvasia actually has the cheapest plot costs by a decent margin. It's like, wow, it's almost like $100 million cheaper than to do it in Varinia. I think that that's probably worth it. I mean, we're definitely going to have to borrow to pay for this, because the factory building cost itself is going to be really expensive. So I think the higher labor cost is probably worth it to have a lower plot cost. I mean, I'm sure in the long run, we're going to pay well more than $100 million in labor, but right now, I just really don't want to borrow for that extra money. We'll go for a large one factory. Oh, man. $500 million to build the Galvey plant for it, but I don't really see any other option. I can't be seen building cars out of regular rusty steel. I just can't do it.
Hey guys, voiceover Marcus here, and actually I can't be seen building any cars at all out of this factory because I somehow managed to forget to take into account the cost of both steel presses and engine factories when estimating the cost of this expansion. Very embarrassing mistake. But things work out later in the episode. We do find a workaround for it. So apologize for this very embarrassing oversight here, but we'll get back to the action with live narration Marcus now.
Not a Consolidated Motor Company, or Motor Cars Inc., whatever this place is called. How much does this cost? I guess... I don't want to sign it off. What is it? Total, 1.7 billion. Okay. So it would be 1.7 billion in construction costs plus about a little over 400 million in plot costs. So we're looking at just about 2 billion. We've got 1 billion in cash. So we would have to borrow just over $1 billion against our $4.8 billion company valuation in order to make this happen. That's a big stretch, but I think we can do it. The question here is, how do we want to do this? Do I want to create 2 new models? I don't think that's really necessary because we would probably build just another couple of cars with front engines and torsion beam rears and basically very similar things to the existing model. Maybe what we do is we expand the trim lineup because you can produce the same model in multiple factories. Maybe what we'll do is we'll make a family variant of, like a little upmarket family variant of the second generation Liberator, and that will continue to be produced in the existing factory, and we will shift production of the updated models of the second generation Liberator into the new large factory. Yeah, let's do that. What I've done here is just do a quick run-through refresh of the budget sedan and budget hatches as well as the engine. We haven't changed any of the selections on any of the menus at all. It's just going to be a retooling, which is why I'm not showing it on camera. But what I am going to show you guys is the creation of our new family trim. So let's go in here and edit it and see if we can make a little bit fancier, a little nicer version. And you know what? Let's even make it a different color, just to show people that you've arrived. You've arrived in a new CMI, and it's the family version, the blue one. Okay. Ooh, we could give it a 4-speed. Really not necessary for a budget car, but maybe a family car would like it. I don't know. First things first, though, let's actually go and select the demographic that we want. We're taking a big comfort penalty, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go standard, basic. Much better. That's a nice score on that so far. Do they like the 4-speed automatic? Well, not really. Actually, it's they slightly prefer the 3-speed. The understeer on this one's a little bit worse, so what I'm going to do is actually make the tires slightly wider. And yeah, there we go. That helps tame it. Brakes look okay. I don't think we need to make any adjustments there. Nothing here. We've gone for standard basic, like I said earlier. Hydraulic power steering, do these guys? Yeah, these guys actually like a point of quality in there. Makes a big difference in comfort, too. And suspension. Ooh, wow, our roll angle is too high for starters, but I think we might want slightly stiffer springs, or slightly softer springs rather, but actually we don't. Do they like this? No, they don't like that. What if we made it softer all around? How would that look? That looks worse. Okay, back to the original setup, but we'll stiffen the sway bars. Great, we just put 200 more stiffness on each. We'll leave our camber setup. That gets us to a good place in drivability where most of our understeer's dialed out. I think this is it. I think this is our family trim. We'll go ahead and name it accordingly. Now for the big one, the factory management. Let's set up our new large factory. Large plot, buy it in Hedvasia where the land is cheapest. Large one factory, we need, oh my god, we need steel presses. Oh my god, I made a huge miscalculation. I forgot to take that into account when I was testing it out. Because when you get your default factory at the beginning of the game, it comes with the steel presses. But when you build the new one, you have to pay for it as an a la carte add-on. Let's see if we can do it anyway, though, even though it straight up adds a whole $1 billion to the cost of the project. You guys might watch me go bankrupt here on next episode. We'll see. Automation. I like 55. That doesn't add too much quality, or too much cost, rather. We'll lower our QA threshold. Worker wages, 0. And what I am actually going to do is, like I said, we'll keep this factory online, but this one here just produces the family model, and then I'll go back to the other one and we'll make it so that it just produces the budget models. That way we get all of our factories operating at maximum efficiency. There we go. What's cool about this, though, is that we can at least, while we're having that long factory construction time, we can at least still be selling our existing models. So we can be making sales and helping pay for the new factories while it's under construction. We don't have to take our existing factory offline. That's a really, really big benefit. Engineering, I think the construction time, I neglected to look again, but I think the construction time has got to be at least, 50 months. So let's crank these sliders and drop the pressure, and we might even save a buck too. I think we'll target 60 months for these guys. That's totally excessive in terms of what's required to actually engineer the car, but I think that's going to give us just enough breathing room on our factory construction. Oh man, we're going to need to upgrade our engine production too. Whew, man, I am overlooking absolutely everything this episode. Although actually, now that I look at it, we're not wildly far off from our engine factory. I wonder if I can upgrade this to a medium 3 and just crank the tooling all the way up, like the automation slider, like something insane, to like 90, and we'll bring the tooling quality up to like 80. And let's see. That actually, I feel like that was close to our total number of cars produced. Let's have a look. We'll bring this up too to 90 because we can. We'll bring the optimization slider down so that we can produce even more cars, or rather even more engines, excuse me, and we don't need any funding at all. I think that's actually enough engines. Let's go see. Oh yes! I can't believe it. We're gonna just barely make enough. Let's see. If I take just a little bit more out of process and just go all the way to the top for automation. Let's see. And we'll go like that. Okay, I think we'll be making yes, we are actually able to make just enough engines to satisfy demand. I think in the long run, we're still probably going to need to invest in engine production, but I actually didn't know that this was even theoretically possible, that we can make in one medium 3 factory enough engines, theoretically anyway, to support a large 1 factory and a medium 3 factory producing cars. So we've run into a slight issue in that the banks won't let us borrow the massive $4.3 billion, very close to our entire company valuation, needed to finance our factory expansion that we want to do. They're only going to let us borrow 45%, so about $2 billion. We have about $1 billion in the bank. So that leaves us with $1.3 billion short. You know what? The monthly payment's reasonable. At least we can say that. We can handle that from a cash flow standpoint. Again, we're going to take risks. We're going to leverage up. We're going to take risks to finance a big expansion and just hope that it pays off. You guys might be watching me run this company into the ground. We'll see. And, oh man, we're going to have a big period where the engine factory is under construction too. This is a disaster. So while we've still been selling cars, our cash flow has actually been positive while we've been constructing our massive car factory to rule them all. But our engine factory is about to go under the knife for retooling, and we're going to lose that cash flow. We've got a decent amount of stock build up, so we'll be okay, I think, for a little while, but this is going to be a tough and expensive stretch here until the models come out in 1977. All we can do at this point is cross our fingers and hope we come out the other side alive. Now we are in January of 1977, and the next facelift, including our first proper family car, is about to go on sale, and more importantly, our first large factory is about to come online. We've actually gotten through this in considerably better financial shape than I thought we would. Our credit rating is kind of down the drain, and our cash flow has been too, but we actually still have a very tiny bit of positive balance left over. We're not in the negative yet, so let's play. I think we will go into the negative once the factories start producing, but that should fix itself fairly shortly. Let's go and cross our fingers. It's 1977. We've been selling our new batch of facelifts for a few months. They're selling really well, thank God, and we're actually cash flow positive. Our credit rating is improving. We're covering our massive loan repayment that we took out to finance our factory expansion. But overall, I'm really, really happy with where we are right now in this playthrough. We're producing 20,400 cars a month at a very healthy markup. We've got a medium 3 factory. We've got a large 1 factory. We're somehow providing engines for both of those out of one medium 3 engine factory that's just absolutely strapped. We'll probably do something about that next episode, but I think that's where we're going to call the automation the portion of today's Let's Play. I'm going to go ahead and export the Family Sedan 72. That's the only one that I feel we've really made material changes to, and even that's just a little bit heavier, so we'll give that a quick cruise around in Beam and see how it feels, see if the extra weight impacts it at all, and maybe it'll give us some ideas for what our next models will look like, because I think next episode, what I'm going to do, it should be a little bit more interesting than today's, is design a dedicated budget model and a dedicated family model. So we'll fork our lineup that is currently shared across one model, and hopefully get a little bit more competitiveness in each. Let's hop over to Beam in the meantime and see how this car is. We're in Beamng.drive now with the family sedan version of the second generation Liberator. We're going to take it for a little spin. I don't expect it to be too much different than the budget versions. It just has slightly wider tires and it's a little bit heavier. You do feel the extra weight. Actually, it seems to handle a little bit better. The back feels slightly more planted, and I think it looks nice in this blue color. It looks good, it rides good. It is markedly slower than the budget cars. The extra, I don't know, a few hundred pounds of cloth seats or whatever else they put in there with the standard interior. Does seem to have made a big difference. I apologize, I don't have too much to say in the way of commentary on this car because it's just so similar to the other ones that we've been producing or that we already tested. But I did want to just give a little Beamng segment at the end and just see how the extra weight felt, and just for sake of completeness on the video. I do think next episode's going to give us some more interesting things to test because now we have a large factory. We're going to design 2 separate models, and once you get one profitable lineup coming out of a large factory, in automation it seems like you can kind of have enough cash flow at that point to sort of do whatever you want. So I think our expansion after this is going to be a lot faster than it has been in previous episodes. So any feedback that you guys have is really appreciated. I've got some great tips and advice on gameplay from the comments, so please keep it coming. Thank you guys, and have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.